Bristol. A half-mile high-speed strip of concrete known as the Roman Coliseum of NASCAR racing.
It's the closest I've ever seen to entering the Roman Coliseum.
Names like Christopher, Miller, Stefanik, and Brunhosel are the gladiators riding these open-wheel chariots as they do battle.
By the grace of God and 600 horsepower.
Tonight, the force of the North take on the bad boys of the South.
Tooth and nail, hammer and tong.
Thunder Valley is going to roar with the sounds of 600 horsepower.
Green flag.
It's a clash of the Titans tonight for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Wow.
And the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour.
Stand on the gas, risk it all.
3 wide.
And it's all happening now.
Now, for something you'll really like.
On Speed.
Welcome to Thunder Valley and the University of Northwestern Ohio Perfect Storm 150 on Speed for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. This is literally Thunder Valley today. Yes, it's 79 degrees. The humidity equals that. There are some light breezes that may blow some storm clouds our way. But it sounds like a cliche, but folks, all the thunder and lightning is going to be right here, right inside Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Mike Joy with Dick Berger, and between us there's probably 95 years of watching modified racing, and you never get tired of this. These are fantastic cars. They weigh about 80% what a Cup car does. They have about 50% more tire than a Sprint Cup car has. They have almost as much horsepower. Thunder and lightning? Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah, and the drivers, I think it's fair to say, are abnormally brave. And talking to the drivers here today, it seemed as if everybody was talking about trying to win this race. For most of them, this is the biggest race that they will run all year long. Championship points don't matter. The win, that's what it's all about.
There are 2 titles to be decided this year. Martinsville used to be the mecca of the modifieds. We'd go there 3 times a year. But now it seems that Bristol, the only combination race that these tours have together, has really taken on the title of Super Bowl.
Well, this place has got sparkle, Mike, and it's got an incredible history. And just to win at Bristol, to go home with that trophy and say that you've won at this very tough racetrack is a big deal to anybody, but particularly these guys who only get to race here once a year.
All right, let's have a look at the point standings coming into Bristol. First, for the Whelen Modified Tour, Ted Christopher, a former Whelen All-American champion. On top, Bobby Santos had a lead of over 100 points and lost it. Mike Stefanik has a championship ring in this series for each finger. Ronnie Sulk, Todd Zagidy's been fast. Ryan Preece and Eric Rudolph, up-and-comers. They're the top 7. Now, let's go down to Bob Dillner on pit road.
Mike Joy, a new kid on the block, on the pole here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I knew this kid when he was about that tall. Now he's about that tall. Justin Bonson, you're on the pole here. What does it mean to do that here at the Bristol Motor Speedway?
This is just the biggest race of the year. This is the biggest honor. I mean, I've won races in go-karts, stock cars, and there's nothing like this. You know, a win will seal the deal tonight, but this is a good day so far.
You're a rookie on the tour this year. What's the goal for today?
Well, as long as we can save our equipment, be there at the end, and we think we got a really good chance to win this. You know, we'll take a top 5, but we really want the win tonight.
Mike Joy, what would it be like for a rookie to win here at the Bristol Motor Speedway?
Well, everybody in Riverhead, Long Island will be cheering, that's for sure. L.W. Miller has a Whelen Southern Modified Tour Championship. He won the series last race, put him in the point lead. James Savali had trouble at Bowman Gray. He is second. Andy Seiss, John Smith, a strong third last race out, and Burt Myers ahead of Zach Brewer and Frank Fleming. They're the top 7 in the South standings. Back to Bob.
Burt Myers, 5th in Southern Whelen Modified Tour points right now. He's driving a car that he calls the Blackout, but he'll have to start at the rear of the field today because he had an unapproved change to his car after qualifying. So how big is this race for the entire modified community, and how big will it be coming from the rear of the field here today?
Well, it's going to be tough for us, but I tell you, this is the race. This is the race that everybody wants to win. It's the Daytona 500 for these cars, and, you know, it's a real privilege to be able to race at a facility like this, and, hey, we're going to make it exciting coming from the rear.
I'll tell you what, if you take a look at the front end of this machine, they got a big old chrome horn there. They call it by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. That's what the mantra of these modified drivers, and that's what they live by.
Myers told us he had only 7 cylinders in his Ford engine during qualifying, at least only 7 firing. They replaced a spark plug, and that was the big change. So it's north versus south, and oh yes, a wild card. The Rocket is in the field and starting fourth, driving for Sprint Cup crew chief Kevin Mannion. This is going to be fun, and you'll see it right here on Speed next. Thunder Valley, the Roman Coliseum of racing, Bristol, Tennessee, ready for the romp and stomp of NASCAR's Whelen Modifieds. Nice crowd given the weather, a lot of storm clouds and a little bit of sunshine and blue sky. And a lot of action about to take place on this racetrack. Let's go trackside for the command.
Race fans, to hear the most famous words in NASCAR, please welcome Dick Sugar, the Board of Trustees from UNOH. Dick?
We certainly wish each and every one of you a wonderful evening, and the drivers a wonderful race of safety all the way. Drivers, start your engine.
You're going to ride with a Rocket tonight. Brian Newman will carry our onboard camera as these open wheel machines, the original NASCAR racing division, is ready to roll. Todd Zegedy there. He will share the front row with Justin Bonsignori, the rookie driver who pipped him by 8 1/1000ths of a second. Bobby Santos, there's Newman. James Savali, Ted Christopher will battle from row 3. Mike Stefanik, lots of titles there. Ryan Preece for the Bowlers, longtime car owner standouts. Eric Goodale, Ron Silk, Eric Rudolph, the newcomer, and Andy Seiss from New Hampshire, but racing the Southern Tour.
And Silk has got half of his finishes in the top 5 this year without winning any of them, Mike.
Goodale and Hochfeld, Brewer and Brown, who battle at Bowman Gray on a weekly basis. L.W. Miller and Dale Quarterly, who won the modified race at Lime Rock Park.
Former motorcycle racer.
Ed Flemke Jr., second-generation standout. George Brunhosel's a third-generation star. Eric Beers, Rob Summers, Jason Myers, and Frank Fleming. Burt Myers, Jason's brother. Brian Dowsett. Gene Pack is the oldest driver in the field at 50-something.
Yeah, and Renee Dupuy, the only female driver in the race.
John Smith, who finished third at Bowman Gray. Brandon Heyer, Rowan Penning. Greg Butcher, Richie Pillai Jr., a rookie. Wade Cole has been on this tour for many years. His dad, a car owner long before that. And Jamie Tomeno, the 1990 champion.
His daughter jacks the car on pit stops.
Andy Petrie failed to make the field, as did Gary Fontaine from Orlando. Bristol Motor Speedway. Steeply banked, 24 to 30 degree variable banking, 6 to 10 in the straightaways. And I just ran into Donnie Leah downstairs. He'll start 10th in the truck race later tonight. He says, gosh, I wish I was running in the modifieds tonight also. He won it last year. Let's have a look at the speed spotlight first. Downstairs to Bob Dillner.
Well, Mike Joy, they've always called drivers from Long Island, New York, part of the Long Island gang. Tonight we have 2 in the top 10 starting spots. Justin Bonsignor on the pole. And the guy that will start 10th here today, 24-year-old Eric Goodale. Last year here at Bristol around the high banks, he went from 31st starting spot to 11th. He's 24 years old, as I said, and he works at his dad's Riverhead Building Supply. One of the low buck guys in this sport trying to do well. How much would a victory be here for this guy right here? It would be like David versus Goliath, and he plans to go to the front. Dick?
And car number 13, Teddy Christopher, 52 years old, from Plainville, Connecticut, a Ford engine under the hood of that car. This guy has won more races in a modified the last 10 years than anybody. A total of 78 wins at Thompson Speedway, 108 at Stafford Speedway, more than any other driver in all the years that racetrack has been open. He qualified on the pole for this race last year, finished second when he adjusted himself out of competition at the halfway point, and we are going to have a halfway break again tonight.
I'm going to take you back to the 9th row to spotlight L.W. Miller in the Baker Plumbing and Utilities Pontiac. He won at the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium, the Tour race just a week ago. Made a nice move on Burt Myers to win it in the closing laps and drove away from Myers, and that's not easy to do at the Madhouse. Miller put on new tires and it slowed the car down, so he starts deep in the field, but he is a patient, thinking driver. If he can find a way to the front, he'll get there. You're going to ride with a rocket this evening. Ryan Newman driving for Bono Mannion. And there's the look. You'd think that big air cleaner would get in your view all the time, and the first time you sit in one of these modifieds, it does. And after that, don't worry about it. There's the look over the rear spoiler, which is made of Lexan, so following drivers can see. And there's the look out under the rear bumper. 150 laps, 80 miles around Bristol for NASCAR's Whelen Modifieds.